and hit record into speaker view. Awesome. Let's see. Welcome everyone. Hello, hello. Oh, we got a good crew here. All right. I think I went ahead and started to hit record. I'm gonna just let you, this is Sara, everyone. I'm gonna let you introduce this is other Sara. I'm gonna let you go ahead and introduce yourself and just really like tell us a little bit about yourself and your story and where you started and how this all came to be. And I'll just kind of like poke in and ask you questions all along the way. But really, I mostly want to hear from you. So take it away.
All right. Wow. Yeah, my name's Sara Carrier, and I started this journey back in 2021 as when I officially bought the course in the wintertime. But I was one of those people who kind of bought it and then was really excited in the beginning and then kind of put it off for a few months. It didn't really get going until I needed to make it work. But yeah, I have a background in writing. I've always loved writing. In high school, I was always the one like helping people edit their papers and like write speeches and things like that. And I knew I had a knack for it, but I've always been pretty practical too. So when people told me I make money and like, I don't know, find a lucrative career with that, I kind of turned in a different direction. I even explored marketing but just the idea, like that misconception that it's very, I don't know, like Mad Men-y, like not very, like not like the most noble career path or things like that. So that kind of steered me away. I was like, I really want to help people. So I ended up landing in speech therapy. I know there's a lot of teachers in this course, but so I have like kind of like an education, like speech therapy background. So that's what I ended up going to school for. And I did all 4 years, and always like I was excited about it, but along the way I was kind of like, is this for me? Like just kind of questioning it the whole time. And then I graduated in 2020 with my undergrad, and then wanted to get a year of experience working in the field before I committed, because I needed to get like another 2 years to become a speech therapist. So I started working in a high school as a speech language pathology assistant, and just like pretty quickly was like, oh, I don't know if this is for me.
Oh man, that feeling.
That feeling was like kind of sinking in, and I picked like a really niche degree. So having those feelings come up was a little jarring, and I was like kind of like, oh no, what am I going to do? Like, how are my skills going to transfer into another field if I decide to switch? And I was kind of, I'm still at this point where I have to make a decision. Am I going to go to grad school and just like do it? And in my mind, I was thinking like, oh, if I do this, I really want to work for myself, kind of open my own practice and things like that. So I knew I wanted to eventually do that, but yeah, just the work life that I was experiencing at my job, and seeing my supervisor, she was a speech therapist, and I was like, I'm not sure if I want to be you in a couple of years. So just like all the thoughts kind of coming up. And so then I turned to Google, and I was researching what are some like non-clinical jobs for a speech therapist and things like that, and just like reading tons of different like Reddit forums and blogs. And then I landed on a blog that was giving all these alternative careers, and one of them was copywriting. And I was like, reading the description of it, I was like, oh my gosh, like that sounds so, like I just resonated with it so much. Just like the flexibility of it, working from home, like you don't need to go back to school. You get to be creative and work with people that you like. It was just like clicking.
All the things.
All the things were clicking. And I honestly can't remember how I found the course exactly. If it was like me researching like how to become a copywriter, and I found like one of your ads or like your blogs or anything like that, or I don't remember exactly how I stumbled upon it, but I ended up finding your stuff, obviously. And then I think I was like I had emailed you a question about the course, and this was like right around the time where you were about to like increase the price for it. And I was like, oh my gosh, like this is my chance. Like I really should like, because I was thinking in the back of my mind, I'm like, even if I don't end up making a career out of it, I I knew it was a valuable skill to have, like to be able to like
Yeah.
communicate your ideas and like market something
Yes.
that like clicks with someone. Cause I'm thinking, even if I don't do this for my career, I know it'll help me like open a bit like my own business someday or my own practice.
Yep.
So it's kind of like,
Exactly.
that's kind of how I was like justifying it in the moment. Cause I'm like, I don't know if this is going to work, like if I'm going to waste my money or not. It didn't feel like I was going to waste my money is what I'm trying to say. So I ended up buying it and was really excited. And I don't even think I like told anybody about it at first. I was kind of like this like secret thing on the down low as I was
Mm-hmm.
doing my full-time job. Um and so I worked through part of the course and then was kind of going through like trying to think of what I wanted to do. And then I ended up just like putting it on the back burner because I was like, I think I'm going to go to school again, just kind of
Mm-hmm.
like over the next few months, just trying to wrestle with it. And then my husband actually got the opportunity to go play basketball in England, in Newcastle, England. And that's when things
So
were like,
awesome.
okay, yeah. So that's when I was like, okay, now I really have to decide like, do I want to like, because we had to make this decision together, like either stay here so I could go to school or go abroad, so
Right.
have this like really cool experience and he could play basketball. And I was like, that would really give me the kick in the butt to start my business too. So we ended up
Yeah.
doing that. And this was like the end of the summer in 2022.
Mm-hmm.
Um, when we finally did that. And within like, it was like within 3 weeks of working full time from like August to September, I made my website and I had already done a little bit of copywriting work for one of my family friends. So I got some
Uh-huh.
experience and I was able to like share that in my outreach emails and things like that. And then when I finally like did my website and I reached out to this big client that I didn't think was going to reach back, but she got back to me like right away in my niche, which is like health and wellness, by the way. I'm kind
Uh-huh.
of all over the place. So sorry.
No, this is like great. This is great.
Okay.
You're doing great.
But I remember we were sitting at like a pub in Newcastle and I like at like we were having dinner and I looked at my phone and I saw an email from them. They were like, you had me at like whatever like my GIF was in the email or something. And I was like, oh my gosh, just like freaking out in the middle of dinner, like just felt so crazy that someone actually read something that I wrote and like wanted, like they were convinced, you know what I mean? Like, it was
Yes.
such a crazy feeling. So yeah, they ended up being like my first real client. And we did a bunch of like funnel projects together, website projects together.
Yes.
They were definitely like the like entryway into that whole like my niche
World.
just like the whole like holistic health world and stuff. So and then from there I think it was so just like 2 or 3 months after that I had like fully replaced my last income
Wow.
from the high school, like working as an assistant. So and that was like kind of just like that was my main goal, was to replace my income so I could do this and just be more flexible.
Mm-hmm.
So
But
yeah,
you achieved that in like 2 or 3 months.
I
So
know.
had to have a new goal.
Yeah, exactly.
So
So,
then what came next? What did
so
life and like what did life look like? Like, you know?
I mean, yeah, I just got to like wake up when I woke up, I didn't have to like get to work by
Yes.
7 a.m. and like have being like this dark. Cause when I worked at the high school, I was just like in the basement, didn't have any windows in my office or anything like that. So just the freedom to be able to like wake up when I wanted and then just like meander over to a cafe and have like windows all around me and like get lunch with
Mm,
my husband, like just a totally different world than I was living before.
Hmm.
And yeah, it was so fun to be able to like do all of this overseas, to kind of just have
Yeah.
freedom to just explore and like take a weekend trip to Scotland. We were like, what? So that was just a really fun time to be able to do that over there. But then, so we ended up we came back about like 5 months after, so around Christmas time we moved back to the States, and I basically was able to take like the whole month of December off to just like be with family and
I love that.
hang out. So yeah, that was really refreshing too. Cause like for me, like relationships with my clients is huge. And we were just like communicating all the time. And like we both kind of agreed, like, yeah, let's just take this month off. And like, cause they have families too. And so yeah, it's really cool to like have that kind of relationship with my clients too.
Yeah. And what did your like husband say as he saw this like all unfold? Or your family even?
They were just like super excited. It's funny because like before I had really taken the leap and we were kind of going back and forth before we left for England, he's like also very practical, like, and I'm normally not one to like take risks like
Hmm.
this. So and he isn't either. So he's like, kind of like, are you sure that you can make this work? Like, I think you should do
Hmm.
grad school and this on the side. And I'm like, I'm just not a very like, I have to be all in, I think that was what was
Hmm.
holding me back. And so I remember this one moment where I was like, wouldn't you bet on me? I feel like I need to bet on myself. And I know that's like really cliche, but it like was such a theme over that summer, like when I was deciding, and I was like, I will totally take a bet on myself. I think I can do this thing. And so it was just really cool to kind of see it gratified so quickly after that. And
Yeah. Yes.
just like reassuring that I did make the right choice. And then I like, yeah, that it worked out. But
That's so amazing and so wild. Like, okay, because this is my favorite thing. Because I think I don't want to prime the question too much, but I feel like there's a transformation that kind of happens after you've like been working for yourself for a while, where you look back and you see the decision of like, because you were saying things like, I think you should go to grad school, like take this risk, like taking this risk on yourself.
yeah.
Do you look back at that now? Like with everything that you know now, does like grad school or like this option, like betting on yourself feel more risky? I guess is my question.
Oh yeah. I mean, I definitely think I made the right choice. Like
Yeah,
thinking that for the long run, for the life that I wanted to create, I think going to grad school was like a bigger risk because that's so much
right.
more money, so much more
Yeah.
time invested. And I
Mhm.
wasn't sure that I really wanted to do that. I wasn't confident that that was the thing for me, but I like knew in my gut that I could write. And I knew that like I have
Yeah.
time too. So even if this wasn't the move, then I could always go back to grad school. So I knew, like looking back now, I'm like, this was definitely the right move for me. But yeah,
Mhm.
that's a good
Because
question.
it's crazy to me, and again, I didn't always feel this way, but it's just crazy to me how quickly people go to grad school and dump like tens of thousands of dollars into something, especially when they're like not 100% into it. Because it's like that's kind of what we've been taught is like
Exactly.
the way you figure it out is by like going to grad school to figure it out. And I don't know. And now with everybody and all the like student debt that everybody's struggling with, I'm like, I
Exactly.
just am excited for like the younger generation to think a little bit more about going to college. Like, you know what I
Yeah,
mean? Because it's just such a big
exactly.
decision that we all just kind of like did without thinking about it. Anyway,
Sure.
I feel about that. But so
I
I just always find it fascinating when you get to the other side of that, you look back and you have so much perspective,
yeah.
right? Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. For
And
sure.
so now you're back in the States, right?
Yep.
Just
Yep.
checking. And
Mhm.
how does life look now?
Now it's really nice, like really flexible. I'm working part-time, so I work from home most days.
And you just mean like part-time hours, right?
Yeah, just part-time hours. Yeah, I still
Yeah.
have the same income. I definitely have plans to grow my business and eventually hit those 10K months and things like that. But I mean, this summer was more of just like, I think this whole first year was just like changing my lifestyle and focusing on that and having more
Yeah.
time to focus on my health and my relationships and my family. And I think, I mean, we were buying a house this summer. So like there was just a lot going on. And I think just realizing that I had that time and that flexibility to really enjoy this season was really cool. But I definitely see like once we settle in our new house in the fall, I can definitely see myself like kind of like digging into that next phase. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, there's two things that made me think. One, I think that obviously it's fun to like talk in the community about people who are having 10K months, but like the whole point of Write Your Way to Freedom is really, and I feel like everybody like needs this reminder from time to time. It's really to just create the life that you want, like whatever that looks like. And that's something that I just love about what you've done is you're like, we're able to go to England and now you're back in the States and you don't have to ask for time off and you get to see your family. And it's like, that's what it's all about, really,
Mhm.
truly. And
Mhm.
you're like living it.
Yeah. And that was like a really big thing with my other job, like my 9 to 5. It was just so limiting and it was so stressful to take time off, especially in like the healthcare and like therapy world, because it's like this is someone's like basically prescription for there's the
Mhm.
services. So it's like you feel bad taking time off, even if you can. So just like the
Mm.
flexibility that I have now and being able to just take a week and go up to New Hampshire to visit my parents if I want to, or like, yeah, I don't know. It's really freeing for sure. So it's definitely,
Yeah. And
yeah.
then the thing that will happen next, and maybe it's already happened to you, and if it has, I'd love to hear. But then you forget, like you kind of forget the things that you were working so hard to have. And then you need like to remind yourself and you're like, "Oh, right, I can literally go do whatever I want during the day." And that one point in time, that was like what I craved more than anything in the world. And then it
Yeah,
becomes like your new normal.
it's so true. I just remember like being at my other job and just so desperately wishing I could go for a walk in the morning before I
Mhm.
went to work and like just to see the sunrise because I would have to get to work before the sun even came up. So
Mhm.
now that I get to like just walk outside whenever I want to, like it's just like mind blowing. Yeah.
It's
That's
so
such a simple thing. It's
mind-blowing.
just like so
Right? There's
valuable.
yeah. I have to remind myself that, like, when I go meet someone randomly, like, for lunch or something, I'm like, "Oh, this was not possible at one one
Yeah.
point."
Right. Right.
So, I'd love to hear from you. Are you so you're working in health and because everybody always loves to hear, like, you're working in health and wellness. How did you so your first client was cold email, it sounds like. About how many clients do you have now? I think it just really helps people to hear kind of like what your day looks like now and um yeah, how many clients, what your types of copy you're writing, things like
Yeah.
that because everybody's always curious about that stuff.
Yeah. So that first client was just like a health and fitness course that I was helping them promote. And I don't really write for them anymore. They took like a little bit of a break, but then I brought on some more clients. Actually, a skincare brand that I used. I reached out to them through
I
cold.
love that.
Actually, no, that was on social media. I think that was an Instagram message, and then
Mhm.
I definitely find a lot of brands I want to work with on social media, and
Mhm.
then I will like try and find their email and email them just because I like doing that better. Um, and then my biggest client right now is a retainer client. She has her own like tallow skincare brand. So I write blogs for her and email and just like website projects. We're like revamping her website. So I think I definitely want to start transitioning to more website and email, like strictly. They're just way more
Mhm.
being like more creative. I feel like I can be more creative.
Yeah.
Um, so, and then what else?
So how many clients are you like juggling right now or do you have?
Right now it's just 3 clients.
Mhm. That's great. That's like the sweet spot, I think.
'Cause I just brought on another client who is more of like an Instagram influencer, but she has like a blog and emails, and she's like do you think you'd be helpful for me? And I was like, yes, definitely, like promoting her brand, like partnerships and things like that through email marketing and things like that. So yeah, I have like 3 like actual clients right now, but since they're all I'm hitting like regularly 4K every month, which is
Nice.
definitely more than I was making
That's
past what I was making before. So that was a good
that's
feeling. Yeah.
amazing. And about how many hours a week are you working?
Say that. But I think it's around like 25 hours a week.
So nice.
I know.
I love that.
My
I
husband,
love that.
I always tell my husband he's like my boss because he's the one who's always like, I think you could be like, like he sees the potential in what I'm doing. And he's like, like reach out to some more clients. I'm like, I will. I'm enjoying this though. Like,
Yeah. I think it's really important to enjoy this.
so
I
there's
don't know.
definitely room to grow, but right now
Yeah.
is, yeah.
It's super important to enjoy this though. Like
Yeah.
truly, I'm really glad you're not like jumping. Like, you know what I mean? Like you can do whatever you want and you're going to have seasons of your life probably where you're like, let's do way more and like let's scale back and then maybe you'll like even do your own thing, you
Yeah.
know?
Right.
So there's so many different directions. Like what you said before, copywriting lends to like so many different ventures. Like you could start your own business now.
Yeah.
Like, don't you feel like you could just start your own business now?
Totally. Totally.
Yeah. Like,
Just
isn't that amazing?
it's a really cool feeling. It really is. Yeah.
I don't, does it like for me anyway, it makes me feel like pretty confident. Like, I'm like, okay, even if like, something crazy happens and I have to start from scratch, like, I know
Exactly.
how to do that.
Yeah, because like I think marketing yourself is just so key. And I think a lot of
Hmm.
businesses miss that or, which
Hmm. Yeah. Or they have
yeah.
resistance,
Which
or they,
by the way, congratulations about the Facebook part.
oh, thank you.
Oh,
I
I think
know
I cut
that was,
you off.
I think my Wi-Fi is a little spotty, so it's like chopping. Yeah, thank you. That was crazy when Facebook was like, "Hey, will you teach your marketing team copywriting?" I was like, "What?" Yes. Yes, I will. Um, Whoa, there was something I was gonna ask you though. I lost it. It's okay. It was something about when you had said that you were going to think about like start you could use copywriting to start your own business. So when you chose copywriting, you were thinking, okay, like even if I don't stay a copywriter forever, I will potentially start my own business. Do you have any ideas? Any things like formulating yet? It's okay if you don't, but I just
Yeah,
love
I feel like I haven't really thought about that just because I'm like really vibing with the whole copywriting business thing. It didn't work out, then I could
cool.
totally open my practice. So I would know how to market myself. But yeah, I definitely feel like it's opened the door for so many different things down the line. Yeah, there's
Ooh, I
just a lot of
also
opportunity, which is really cool.
yeah, and I also remember that made me remember my other question that I had for you. I'm like holding all these questions for you. When you had talked about how you thought of marketing as kind of like cringy or you were skeptical and thinking about
Oh
it
shoot,
being
it's
kind
cutting
of
out a little bit.
oh no. Can you hear me now? Oh no.
Okay, I
What?
hear you now. I see you. We're good.
Okay. I don't know if it's my Wi-Fi or what, but you had mentioned that you found marketing like kind of cringy or you were resistant to it at first.
Oh shoot.
Oh no. Oh no. Can you hear me
Are
now?
you are you asking? I hear bits of your question. Are you asking about like how I felt about marketing? Like how it was like,
Yeah, I want
I
to
want to
hear a
hear.
little bit more about that transformation because obviously you're okay with it now, but it's
Mhm.
often the preconceived ideas that we have about things before we really dig into them that kind of like, set that tone. So I'd just love to hear you talk to that, speak to that.
Yeah. For sure. And I think that a lot of people still do feel that way about marketing, that it's just like kind of icky and like just even like hyper consumerism and like having to like trick people into thinking they need more things and to buy more things. But that's why just like you're with now, it's like they have the same philosophy and like outlook that I do. Like and I don't have to write necessarily to sell a product, but to solve a problem. And then even it doesn't even have to be like a physical thing. It can just be like a course or like a training and things like that to make your life better. Like it doesn't have to be like a physical thing that you're buying and like then wasting. So that feels really good to me to know, and it definitely
Yeah,
shifted that perspective.
for sure. I definitely had that like belief around marketing and stuff. I was, if you had told like me 15 years ago I would be in marketing, I would have totally not believed you.
Oh, same.
So,
Yeah, I was like, I can't help people. That doesn't like feel right to me. But now I can see that the courses and the products that I'm like helping people promote are truly help making people's lives better. So
mhm,
it just feels really
mhm.
good. Yeah,
Yeah.
makes me excited.
So Faye just asked, can you tell us a little bit about your approach to client acquisition? And did you feel discouraged at any point? If so, how did you move past that feeling? That's a great question.
That is a good question. Yeah, it definitely felt like really overwhelming at first. And just the idea that there's so many businesses out there and it's like, how do I narrow it down? Like who actually needs the help? And who's going to
Hmm.
respond to what I'm saying and my message and things like that. And I, at first I was going to do like kind of like just like like throwing tons of emails out. But I think when I started to really kind of be more choosy as to who I was sending emails to, like kind of investigating to see if they would be a good match and like doing a little more research onto their brand and how I can like cater the email more to them. I felt like just like quality over quantity was it for me. And I think I got
Hmm.
more of a response from that. And I think also what helped was when I first made my website, it was pretty general. But when I
Hmm.
started to kind of niche down a little bit more and like lean into my own beliefs about
Hmm.
things in the health world, even, and just I wrote like some samples that were very niche um,
Hmm.
and about certain things that are, you know, more controversial and like not like all like not everyone believes. So, and then when my biggest client now, when she read one of my blogs, just like after she got my cold email, she replied back and was like, "You're perfect for me. Your blog about butter was like like is exactly my own philosophy on like saturated fats and things like that." So that's when I was like, okay, so I guess niching down was the right thing to do. It just resonates with people
Nice.
who lean into your own beliefs and like things like that. I think that helped me
That's
more.
amazing. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. It's so good to hear because there's always doubt and overwhelm, and I don't know. It's a scary thing. There's just
Yeah,
no getting around it. It's
yeah,
scary. It's exciting, but at the end of it, there's being able to sit in a room full of windows,
yeah, exactly.
which is so good.
Yeah,
Cannot be underestimated.
for real.
Um, is there anything else you like wanted to share or touch on? Because I have one follow-up question for you if you don't, but just any
I
part of your joining.
um I think just the fact that like you reached out and like wanted to ask me more about my story was just really, really, really cool because in my own mind, I'm not there yet. Like I'm not a success
Mhm,
story yet. So, and I know like this has helped me kind of reflect on my own journey and like how far I've come because I know that there's so much more I could do and like I have a lot more goals now, like bigger goals, but just taking the time to, I guess, like you always say, like celebrate your wins and like appreciate
mhm,
how far you've come, like, and to take imperfect action because like I don't love
mhm,
everything about my business so far. Like there's things I
mhm.
want to change, but it's working and like you can learn as you go and
Mhm.
success like along the way too, clearly.
Mm.
It's just so cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's ever changing. Like
Yeah.
I mean, even for me, it's like always changing and growing alongside us. And that's, I think, one of the most exciting things about it all. But you are a massive success. Again, I think it's so important to remember like the whole point of this is about like creating the life that like works for you where you
Right.
are. Like you did it. You're here.
Right.
And will it change and grow? For sure. It's like,
Mhm.
but that's gonna, I don't know, keep you interested and engaged and it
Mhm.
keeps it exciting, has a
Yeah.
nice dash of like scary all along the
Right.
way.
Yeah. Right. Exactly. For sure.
But yeah. We got another question. Did you
Okay.
finish all the modules in the course, or did you get to a point where you felt like you had enough foundation to start reaching out to clients? I am going to add that I encourage you to start reaching out to clients before finishing all the
Yeah.
modules.
Yeah, I definitely did. I didn't finish all the modules before I started reaching out to like family, friends, and things like that.
Yes.
And getting more experience. I started writing like pretty much right away, just to kind of practice the things in the module. But I did see that you added some more, you updated the module, so I'm for sure gonna go back through and
There's
like
all kinds of updates.
yeah, yeah. There's definitely yeah, and I think that's like the beauty of it is that you don't have to finish it. Like it's because that can be kind of overwhelming, kind of like paralyze
Mhm.
you almost. But I think knowing that you can start before you're through the course is pretty freeing too.
Yeah, you literally learn as you go. I
Yeah.
honestly think it's the like that's the fastest way to learn is to
Yeah.
like put things into action, get feedback,
Yeah.
adjust what you're doing and keep going forward. So,
Yeah. I think I had done like the foundational modules and like just like the
mhm.
basics of copywriting and things like that. And like a couple freehand things or what is it called?
The hand copy, yeah.
Hand copying, yeah. The hand copying things. And then I went to the website module and then the outreach modules. So those were, and then once I got clients, I would come back and like refresh to kind of like
Yeah,
learn as I did work through the projects and things like that. So that was a helpful.
totally. Because I think people forget that, or, it's also like baked into our brains from a young age that like you need a PhD before you can like speak on anything. But if you know just a little bit more than the person you're talking to and you really work
Yeah.
to do a good job and you're studying your craft, it's okay.
I think that
And
was like a huge thing for me was knowing just a little bit more than your
mhm,
client. I think that was like huge because I felt like I wasn't ready for it. But I think hearing you say that, I was like, that's so true. And having like my first client calls, I was like, okay, they think I'm an expert. Okay. Even though like I didn't feel like it I was able to help them even like with just that little bit more information. Yeah.
totally. They're busy running their business. They don't have time to study the craft of copywriting and marketing
Exactly.
even, right? Like they don't have the time to do that. They're running their business. And so when you come in, and the other thing is like you can always, if you are working on a project that's new or a different type of copy that you've never done before, it's still the foundational like techniques and ideas and like
Yeah.
philosophies. But you can always like watch something, watch a lesson, do a training before you actually dig into a new project. This isn't like school where there's like a time test and the proctor like watching over you. Like,
Exactly.
we have like a world of resources at our tips and like it's
Like,
okay
doesn't
to
have to
look
be
at that.
linear. Yeah.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, I love that. I love that. I feel like I could tell that you took the action. I love to hear that. I love to hear that so much. So, all right. So I love to ask this question. Um, what types of actually, I'll ask this question first. What types of copy had you practiced before doing client outreach?
Um, so before reaching out to like actually reaching out to clients other than like family friends, I had done a little bit of blog writing, like made some sample pieces, and then I had helped that family friend with her website. I had made my own website. Um, those were kind of like I think website copy and blogging were the two big ones that I really focused on. not so much ad copy besides like the hand copy practice, but and then going back through like the client outreach, like email template that Sara has, that helped me kind of figure out what I needed to put in the emails. But yeah, that's pretty much it for.
So like the steps that are in the course leading
Yeah,
up to it. Yeah.
yeah,
That's good. That's it. That's
yeah.
all you need.
Right.
Really it, you know?
Yeah.
I love that. Amazing. Okay, so here's my last question for you before we wrap up. I love to hear if you could like go back in time and talk to yourself right before you decided to like, grad school, this path. What would you like knowing everything that you know now, like what would you say to Sara?
Do it.
Just do it.
Just do it. Yeah, like you can learn as you go. You can take imperfect action. Like not every bit of your website needs to be like exactly how you want it before you start reaching out. Like you can start an Instagram and like feel weird and awkward, and it's okay. Like you're gonna learn. You have to start and be awkward at first, and you'll learn how to do it and like get a groove as you learn and go and keep progressing. Just do it.
Yes, I love it. I love
That's what I would
it.
say to myself for
With
sure.
much more certainty. Yeah.
Yeah, right, right.
Yeah. Well, thank you for sharing your story with us, Sara. It's so powerful. You've literally created the life that you want. Will it change? Probably. But right now, it's doing everything you need it to do. And that is so huge. So great work. And
Thank
thank
you.
you for being here
Thanks for
and
having
sharing
me.
your story with us.
Of
All right, you
course.
guys, thanks for being here and your thoughtful questions. And I'll see you in the community. Bye.
Bye.